Oh, someone excited to see me?
4:30 a.m. wake-ups never come easy. Yet, they are the norm during shed season. And when you're searching for the elusive antler, you need all the daylight hours you can get. The motto, "the early bird gets the worm," couldn't be more true, as multiple times either being the first one to the trailhead or getting that extra few hours of hiking has led to more antlers. That said, the mind and the body don't function all that well on those mornings. So I try to get a good start to the day with turmeric and a solid breakfast. For my 24th day of shed season, I headed out with my friend Bruce from Epoch Outdoors. We expected dry ground conditions being this far into spring, but Mother Nature had other plans in mind, with over a foot of new snow in the high country. The tactic on most days when you shed hunt with a partner is once you get to the zone, you divide and conquer. After about a 5-mile push together, Bruce and I each picked a route, planned a rendezvous time and place, turned our radios on to stay in touch, and started hiking. The fresh snow made it quite challenging, as it doesn't take much to bury a shed and make it nearly impossible to see. That said, Bruce kicked things off by somehow spotting this antler tines down in the snow.
All right, guys, I'm out with Steven today. It is snowy, so we had to almost step on this thing. I've been doing zigzags just incredibly tight. I'm surprised I even saw this thing. But we've got a meatloaf! Oh, all right. Beautiful antler. Meatloaf!
And shortly after, I found my first antler.
An oldie, but it counts. Out here bushwhacking on some North Facers with my friend Bruce today, and twice now he's hit me on the radio and yelled meatloaf. So thick stuff is producing. Pretty cool. Donate that one back to the forest. You're gonna roll today.
I know, second one of the day. Feels pretty good. Honestly, I didn't think we were gonna find anything today when we started hiking, and it was snow everywhere. They're really hard to see, so I think we're lucky we're finding anything. Yeah, everyone's a miracle, even these small raghorns. Look at that guy. Still got the wax ring.
In years past, I would always bring 2.5 to 3 liters of water every day with me. And what I'm doing instead this year is when I'm in areas that have creeks and stuff, I just bring this Nalgene. It's a 1.5 liter Nalgene. And then I bring my Katadyn BeFree filter, and I just supplement with filtered stream water. Third light of the trip. Are you gonna donate this one to a tree too? I think I'll keep this guy actually. It's a white, but it's in decent shape. Just chewed up a bit on the bottom, so not bad. Karen and I have got some pretty big backpack hunts coming up. The most notable is we're heading up to Canada, up in the Yukon, for actually 2 months, but the first stint of that is going to be an archery backpack goat hunt for me, which is crazy. I get to hunt in Canada with my bow. Super stoked. Anyway, when you're living out of your backpack for weeks or even months on end, you kind of eat what's available, and it usually ends up being a bunch of candy bars, a bunch of granola bars and stuff, and it's just not like great quality food. Kind of messes with your gut. So we are on the hunt to try to find some really good quality foods that we can take with us and provide good, ample energy and don't have a bunch of added sugar. So I'm just going to dive through a few of these food options that we're playing with right now that so far have made the cut. First up, moon cheese. 10 grams of protein per serving. There's 2 servings in here, so 20 grams of protein, lots of good fat, and 170 calories per ounce, and there's about 2 ounces in here. And next up, a homemade granola bar with 0 added sugar. These are basically a big Sir bar. Got a cookie base with just a nut and fruit and mixture on the top. We'll make a video specifically how to make these coming soon. Next up is RX bars. So what's listed here is the only ingredients that's in this thing. The only downside is these are rather expensive. Then we've got my one guilty pleasure. These are Cliff Shot Blocks, the black cherry flavor, 50 milligrams caffeine. The beauty of these is when you bonk or get super tired, pop a couple of these, drink some water, in 5 minutes you completely forgot you were even tired. These are basically straight sugar. So that's my one downfall. And then we got a super not so exciting bag of nuts. In here there is pumpkin seeds, cinnamon covered macadamia nuts, regular macadamia nuts, a few Brazil nuts, even got some dates in there. Really healthy, high on the calorie count, pretty good for you. And for all of our dinners, we're going to have gastronome freeze-dried. And if anyone has some suggestions on some good healthy backpacking snacks we could take, throw them in the comments. I'd love to check it out. Now let's get back to walking around the woods, aka shed hunting. I see a brown in the middle of all this thick stuff. Nice. It's kind of crazy. At first I thought this was elk poop, but that is fresh bear poop right next to the shed. And right there's like a big dugout spot. So bear must have been hanging out right here with his shed. Meatloaf.
Yeah, Meatloaf! Is it a brownie?
It's a little brownie. Right next to a bear hole with a bear poop.
Love it. The bear must have scared the shed right off. That's awesome.
A mighty pickup. Cool G1. Another meatloaf. It's like right there. There. Another raghorn. I'll take it.
Meatloaf! I got one, but it's the smallest raghorn and it's broken above the G2.
Nice, buddy.
Antler number 3 for the day.
Bruce and I are on Raghorn Roundup today. Another meatloaf. Good times. Another Raghorn. I'm gonna chuck this one. Just walked up on a little color phase black bear. Had him at probably, I don't know, 60 yards, so just about bow range. Kind of cool. Sometimes I spend so much time looking like 30, 40, 50 yards away that I don't look right at the base of my feet. I just about tripped on one. Check this out. Right at the base of my feet. How you doing out there, buddy? Got another meatloaf.
Radios work great, except when there's a mountain between you and the other person. So when you can't get in touch with your shed hunting partner, it's pretty important to have a predetermined time and place to meet up later.
Another meatloaf. Full on raghorn roundup today.
And another.
The raghorn roundup continues. This one's pretty ancient. I think I'm gonna chuck him. Yeah. I'm gonna keep him. I'm keeping him.
Bruce and I ended the day with 15 raghorns, 6 of which we donated back to the shed gods. Before the long haul back to the truck, I sat down with Bruce to ask him a few questions.
All right, this is Bruce. Bruce, go ahead and introduce
Hey guys.
yourself.
Yeah, I'm Bruce. I own Epoch Outdoors. I live in Bozeman, Montana, and we're out shed hunting today.
How'd you get into shed hunting?
I got into shed hunting because I first saw a shed antler when I was really young, and I just thought it was pretty much the coolest thing ever. I had no idea how the antler could fall off the head like that, and then you were just left with just this cool piece of bone. Man, it took me so long to figure out how to shed hunt. I remember going with my dad multiple times to areas we thought would have antlers, and it just had nothing. No antlers to be found. It was one of the hardest things to figure out. And then I think in about 2017, I found my first antler with my dad, and it just lit like a fire in me that like, okay, this can be done. You see people like pick up loads of antler online, and part of you just thinks like, this is not attainable for me. Lo and behold, it can be done in Montana. And Steven was kind of the one that showed me that. Through his documentation on YouTube, I was like, yeah, this can be done. And so that's kind of how I got into shed hunting, and it's been a huge passion ever since.
What's your favorite shed hunting memory? Besides today, of course.
It has to be the first set that I found with my dad. That was pretty huge. I remember just being elated about that for days. The fact that I found it with my dad was very meaningful, and the fact that I found any antler at all was a miracle. I was so amazed that you could actually find these things.
Why did you start Shed Straps, which is now Epoch Outdoors?
There are so many awesome moments that you have in the outdoors as you're looking for sheds. There's so many different moments that I cherish when I'm in the outdoors, and I want to remember those. And so Shed Straps just lets you display those memories on your wall, so you can look back and say like, hey, I remember that antler. I remember where I was. I remember how I was feeling. It's like a timestamp or an epoch that just kind of cements in your brain, and it kind of forms around this antler that you picked up on that day, in that experience, in that time in your life. That's why we started Shed Straps, Epoch Outdoors.
And you have a bear spray holster now.
We've got a bear spray holster now. And that's just because in Montana, if you're shed hunting in Montana, you're pretty much going to be in grizzly bear country. I just wanted a faster way to deploy my bear spray and attach it to wherever I wanted to attach it to. So that was the thinking behind that. Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we've picked up this many antlers. I'm incredibly tired too, so I think I probably walked past 6 antlers that you planted for me. You're gonna have to go pick them back up tomorrow.
The day started at 4:30 a.m. and we didn't get home until 12:30 a.m. the next day. We each logged 25 miles of hiking, which was my biggest day for the 2024 season. A rest day, or 2, is pretty much mandatory after an adventure like this one. So we take a breather, replenish calories, and get ready for the next big wild adventure back into the mountains.